Why I'm saying this again, Sinner versus Dimitrov 2025 Wimbledon. A snapshot from the dramatic fourth round match at Wimbledon 2025 between Yannick Sinner and Grigor Dimitrov. Match summary: Sinner versus Dimitrov, Wimbledon 2025 fourth round. Score at retirement: Yannick Sinner was trailing 3-6, 5-7, 2-2 when Grigor Dimitrov was forced to retire with a painful right pectoral muscle injury. Dimitrov had been mounting a serious upset, taking the first two sets and pushing the world number one to the brink. Sinner's fall and injury early in the match. Sinner fell on his right arm, leading to an elbow injury that required medical attention. Despite the setback, he continued playing, though visibly hampered. Sporting valor. The scene grew emotional when Sinner hovered near a distressed Dimitrov during his medical check and later publicly expressed that he didn't feel like the match was a win. His empathy shone through in post-match comments. Dimitrov's emotional exit for Dimitrov. This marked his fifth consecutive Grand Slam retirement, a heartbreaking pattern in the twilight of his career. He called this moment one of the most painful of his career. Looking ahead, Sinner advanced to the quarterfinals where he was scheduled to face Ben Shelton. What fans are saying. Over on Reddit, tennis fans captured the collective heartbreak. That's an absolutely gutting finish. Devastated for Grigor. When was the last time a player leading by 2 sets retired? Feels surreal. What it means. This match was a perfect storm of drama and emotion, a battle between form and misfortune, with the world number one injured and trailing, only for his comeback bid to be interrupted by his opponent's cruel injury. It showcased the physical and mental demands of tennis at the highest level, and the humanity behind it. I think Sinner would have came back and won 3-6, 5-7, 7-5, 7-6, 7-5 in the tiebreak, 7-6, 10-8. That's a very plausible what-if scenario, especially considering Sinner's history of grinding his way back in long matches and Dimitrov's tendency to fade physically even when healthy. If we imagine that match playing out without Dimitrov's injury, sets 3, 7-5 Sinner. With the momentum slowly shifting, Sinner could have dug deep late in the third, capitalizing on a light slip from Dimitrov. Set 4, 7-6 Sinner. Dimitrov would have likely kept it close with flashy shot making, but Sinner's consistency in tiebreaks could edge him ahead. Set 5, 7-6 Sinner. In a deciding set super tiebreak, Wimbledon uses 10-point breakers at 6-all in the fifth. Sinner's calmness under pressure could have sealed the comeback 10-8. That would have made it one of the greatest recoveries in Wimbledon history, especially after being 2 sets down and dealing with his own arm injury.
Good evening or good morning to everyone in my classroom. Y'all know me as James Giles. So, I did this experiment about my sport. As some of y'all may know, I played tennis. I was a 2-time state champion, and I wanted to do something about my sport, something that I'm very good at and something I wanted to figure out. So what I wanted to figure out was, does the temperature affect how high a tennis ball will bounce? That was my question. And when I play tennis, in the cold and in the warm, sometimes the ball bounces a little differently. And I wanted to figure that out. So the reason why I'm doing this experiment is because this experiment will allow me to discover if the bounce of a tennis ball is affected by temperature, and it benefits society because a lot of people play tennis, and when it's warm, hot or cold, the ball will bounce weird, and I'm trying to figure out if it's me, not me, or if the temperature is affecting the ball. If I put the tennis in a warm area and a cold, then the tennis ball in the warm area will bounce higher than in the cold area, because the warm area will keep the ball at its regular temperature or higher, and the warm area will make it more heavier where it will not bounce very high. Procedures. What I will need for this experiment, or what I did. I have to use the cold balls first. Find the temperature in the ball. Bounce the tennis ball. Point to the measurement on measuring tape. Do the same for the second ball. Find the temperature inside the ball. Bounce it. Point to the measurement on the measuring tape. Then third one, where we do the same thing. Then get the hot balls and find the temperature inside. Bounce it. Point to the measurement on measuring tape. Then repeat the same thing 2 more times and put the data in the table. So here are my materials. I put pictures of these materials to show them and prove to them. So the materials I used for this experiment was a thermometer, which is right here. 6 tennis balls, even though there's one on the picture, I used 6. A tennis racket, measuring tape, a heating pad for the balls that are made at a hot/warm temperature, and a cooler for the balls that are made at a colder temperature. And I had a notebook for recording the data. So here is the data. For trial 1 at 60 degrees, this is for the hot/warm. The first one when it was at 60 degrees, trial 1, the ball went 20.5 feet. Number 2 went 75.5 feet and 8.5 feet. At 56 degrees, for trial 2, 77 feet. Then 87 feet, and then somehow 106 feet. For trial 3, For trial 3, 82 feet, 85 feet, and 99 feet. And the data for the cold balls. At 43 was the first one, where it went to 61 feet, 58 feet, 63 feet. For trial 2, at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 62 feet, 54 feet, and 59 feet. And for trial 3, the third one, which was at 41 degrees, 62 feet, 54 feet, and the third one went 59 feet. So the results/analysts, the results tell me if the temperature is either at hot, high, or cold, will affect the bounce of a tennis ball. This is related to a real world situation, is that I play tennis, and when I am playing or watching others play in the cold, the ball is kind of bouncing a little different. And I thought it was just me or them. So this experiment will help me know if it does affect the bounce of a tennis ball. So here are the pictures of me doing the experiment. During the experiment, I had a little help from my teammates. One was very tall and had to hold the ruler up. Yeah, he's very tall. One helped record the notes, and I was the one, as you see in one of the pictures, I was the one who was bouncing the ball. And the tennis racket, you see, that is what the tennis racket came into necessary to bounce with the ball. Because if I use my hands to bounce the ball, then I wouldn't be doing it at a normal pace. Because sometimes when I use my hands, I can't do it on a normal pace. So I use the tennis racket where I'll be able to balance it, but being able to keep it at normal pace or bounce the ball at normal strength. So here's one, here's another, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and a lot more. My conclusion is the temperature does affect the bounce of a tennis ball, because in the data on the hot grass, the ball was bouncing higher, and when I bounced the cold balls were bouncing very low. Well, what I would do differently in the future is try to find the height of a regular tennis ball without putting in heated or colder areas. So here's my abstract. I did this experiment because I wanted to figure out if the bounce of a tennis ball is affected by temperature. My hypothesis was if I put the tennis in a warm area and a cold, or then the tennis ball in the warm area will bounce higher than in the cold area, because the warm area will keep the ball at its regular temperature or higher, and the warm area will make it more heavier where it will not bounce very high. The results shown that the temperature did affect the bounce, so that means the temperature did affect the bounce of a tennis ball. Thank you for y'all time.
Do you remember the Frances Tiafoe 2023 Houston run? 2023 U.S. Men's Clay Court Championships Frances Tiafoe's title run. Yes, that was a big moment in Frances Tiafoe's career. In April 2023, Frances Tiafoe won the Houston title, capturing the biggest clay court trophy of his career and his first clay title overall. The run breakdown. Tournament, ATP 250 in Houston, surface, outdoor clay. Seeding, number 1 seed. Result, champion. Final, Tiafoe defeated Thomas Martin Etcheverry in the championship match. Score was 7-6, 7-1 in the tiebreak, 7-6, 8-6 in the tiebreak. Both sets were tight, but Tiafoe was clutch in the tiebreaks. Why it mattered. It was his first title of 2023, showed he could win on clay, not just hard courts. It reinforced his status as the top American male player at the time. Helped maintain momentum after his deep 2022 U.S. Open run. Houston is often where Americans build clay confidence before the European swing, and Tiafoe handled the pressure as top seed, something he hadn't always done earlier in his career. If you want, I can break down how he tactically won on clay that week, serve patterns, forehand usage, return positioning. It rained a lot during that time that he had to play 4 matches in 2 days. Yes, that week in Houston was chaos because of the rain. At the 2023 U.S. Men's Clay Court Championships, weather delays stacked up matches, and Frances Tiafoe ended up having to grind through an extreme scheduling crunch, basically playing 4 matches across 2 days to win the title. What happened? Heavy rain earlier in the week pushed matches back. By the weekend, he had to play multiple rounds in 1 day. Some matches were split across days, and recovery time was minimal. Conditions were slow and heavy because of damp clay. That's brutal on clay. Long rallies, sliding, heavy legs. Why that makes the title more impressive? Clay already demands more physically. Longer points, more grinding baseline exchanges, tougher movement and recovery. Now add compressed schedule, mental pressure as the number 1 seed, and back-to-back high-stress matches, and he still won 2 tight tiebreak sets in the final against Thomas Martin Etcheverry. The Houston run showed something important about Tiafoe. His conditioning had leveled up. His mental toughness was there under fatigue. He could close when exhausted. Honestly, that week was one of the more underrated, gritty title runs of 2023 on tour. Break down how playing that many matches in 2 days. If you want, I can break down how playing that many matches in 2 days impacts legs, serve speed, and decision making late in the tournament. Not really. But I forgot to tell you guys, like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl happened, I finally watched the Super Bowl. I wasn't able to watch it because I was flying. Oh, okay, makes sense. Flying during the Super Bowl is rough timing. So now that you finally watched it, what did you think? Worth the hype, blowout, or good gaming in your opinion? Halftime show hit or miss? Any wild moments that surprised you? Watching it after the fact is low-key different. No social media pressure, no live reactions, just straight football. I'm curious, what stood out the most? It was boring from the start, but the game only went one way. No commercials, just straight football. Yeah, that's the worst kind of Super Bowl. When it's one-sided from the jump, it just kills the suspense. The best Super Bowls are the ones where it's tight going into the fourth quarter. There's a momentum swing. Someone has to make a clutch drive. If it's one team controlling it from start to finish, it feels more like a regular season game than the biggest game of the year. And watching it without commercials probably made it feel even more straightforward. Just pure football, no hype breaks, no dramatic build up between plays. Sometimes the commercials and halftime show are what make a boring game feel bigger than it is. Was it a defensive domination type of game, or just one offense that couldn't move the ball at all? Also, since you're competitive like that with tennis, do you prefer close games or do you low-key respect dominance more? Yeah, I watched it. Where do we go now? Meaning Sweet Child O' Mine. In Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses, the line "Where do we go now?" repeated several times near the end can have a few layered meanings, both emotional and musical. Emotional meaning is often interpreted as uncertainty about the future of a relationship. The singer has spent most of the song expressing deep love and admiration for the woman, sweet child, but by the end he's unsure where things are headed. Hence, where do we go now? It's like he's asking what happens next in our love story. Symbolic meaning. It can also reflect a sense of vulnerability. When you care deeply for someone, you can feel lost about what to do next, how to keep it going, or where life will take you both. Behind the scenes musical context. Fun fact, during the recording, Axl Rose actually ad-libbed "Where Do We Go Now?" While the band was trying to figure out how to transition the song, they liked how it sounded and decided to keep it as part of the final version. So it's both a literal studio moment and a metaphor for uncertainty. So in short, "Where Do We Go Now?" in Sweet Child O' Mine means what happens next. Why Avengers Age of Ultron is a top 11 MCU movie? Good question. Avengers Age of Ultron often gets mixed views, but many fans and critics still consider it a top 11 MCU movie because of how much it does for the overall Marvel story and character development. Here's why it deserves that spot. 1. It sets up the entire future of the MCU. Without Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame wouldn't make as much sense. It introduces Wanda Maximoff, Vision, and Ulysses Claw, plus hints at Vibranium and Wakanda, planting seeds for Black Panther. 2. Ultron is an underrated villain. James Spader's Ultron isn't just another bad guy, he's Tony Stark's creation gone wrong, embodying Tony's fear of failure and humanity's flaws. He's philosophical, menacing, and sarcastic. Philosophical and sarcastic. A chilling mix that still stands out among MCU villains. 3. Deep character moments. It gives depth to heroes like Hawkeye, his family review, Black Widow, her red room pass, and Bruce Banner, his struggle with being the Hulk. It's one of the few MCU films that slows down for its characters instead of just focusing on explosions. 4. Teen conflict that feels real. This movie lays the groundwork for tensions that expose later in Civil War. The cracks in the team, especially between Tony and Steve, start right here, giving the MCU a more layered human feel. Big memorable moments: Iron Man vs. Hulk in Hulkbuster armor, Vision lifting Mjolnir, the birth of Vision, the Sokovia battle sequence. Each one is cinematic and still gets talked about years later. It balances humor and darkness. While darker than the first Avengers, it keeps that witty MCU energy. You can tell it's moving toward the heavier tone of Infinity War while still being entertaining. 7. Thematic weight: peace in our time. At its core, the movie questions humanity's relationship with power and control. Tony wants peace through dominance, Ultron wants peace through extinction, and the Avengers must find balance. It's smarter than it's often given credit for. In short, Age of Ultron earns a top 11 MCU spot because it's the bridge between early MCU fun and the more emotional, mature storytelling of the later phases. It's not perfect, but it's essential, and in hindsight, it ages surprisingly well. Why was Mocha chasing after Skune in episode 1? In episode 1 of Rosario plus Vampire, Mocha Akashiya chases after Skune Ono for a simple but funny and important reason. After Skune accidentally bumps into her and she falls, she apologizes and helps him up. When she gets close to him, she smells his blood and instinctively bites his neck since she's a vampire. Right after drinking his blood, Mocha realizes she really likes the taste and becomes attached to him, emotionally and physically. That's why she starts chasing after him happily, calling his name and wanting to be around him more. So in short, Mocha chases Skune because she's drawn to his blood, but it also marks the start of her crush on him, and she feels something more than just hunger. It's the moment their whole relationship begins. Blood attraction mixed with genuine affection. Why did she chase after him when he was about to leave? Good question. That moment in episode 1 of Rosario plus Vampire has a lot of emotion behind it. Here's what's happening. When Skune first arrives at Yokai Academy, he's terrified after realizing it's a school full of monsters. He tries to leave, but because he doesn't want to get eaten or caught. But Mocha chases after him because, 1, she doesn't want him to go. She genuinely likes him. Even though she first bit him because of his blood, she quickly felt a real emotional connection. He was kind to her, and she didn't want to lose that warmth or friendship. 2, she feels lonely and different. As a vampire, Mocha has trouble fitting in. She's beautiful but isolated. Meeting Skune, a human who treats her kindly, makes her feel accepted for the first time. That's why she runs after him when he tries to leave. 3, it sets up their bond. Her chasing him is a symbolic. It shows she's not just interested in his blood, but in him as a person. It's the first sign that their connection will become deeper and more genuine. So basically, Mocha chased after Skune because she didn't want to lose the first person who made her feel seen and cared for. It's the moment where affection overtakes her vampire instincts. I had Lucky Charms for breakfast, and then at 6 p.m. had baked chicken over gravy and rice for dinner. Nice, that sounds like a solid day, Viti. Lucky Charms for breakfast gives you quick carbs and a bit of sugar for morning energy. Baked chicken with gravy and rice for dinner adds protein and a good balance of carbs for recovery and staying full. If you're still feeling good later tonight, you don't need a big snack, maybe just something light like fruit, yogurt, or a small handful of nuts if you get hungry before bed. So tomorrow I have food that I bought, and it's fried chicken nuggets, and for lunch and dinner I'm gonna eat some baked chicken and healthy for dinner. That sounds like a good balance, James. Lunch, fried chicken nuggets, totally fine. Enjoy them, especially you keep the protein moderate. Maybe add a fruit or some veggies on the side, like baby carrots or an apple to get a little fiber and vitamins in. Dinner. Baked chicken is something healthy. Great choice. Baked chicken gives you lean protein and helps balance out the fried lunch. You're basically doing what a lot of athletes do. Enjoy some fried once in a while, but make sure the rest of the day is clean and nutrient rich. Then Thursday, I will eat a ham sandwich for lunch, and I'm finally having my B-Day party, and I plan to have wings and pizza, but sharing with my guests. That sounds awesome, James. Happy early birthday. Your Thursday plan actually sounds balanced too. Lunch, ham sandwich, simple and solid, good protein, some carbs, not too heavy. Birthday dinner, wings and pizza, perfect party food, and sharing with your guests means you still enjoy it without going overboard. If you want to keep your energy up that day, especially if you'll be active or celebrating late, you could have a light breakfast like cereal, toast with peanut butter, or fruit. Drink plenty of water before and during the party. It'll help balance out the salty food. Maybe grab a small fruit or yogurt snack before the party so you don't get too hungry before eating the wings and pizza. What are some places high school people go after games that end at like 10, like Friday Night Lights? That's a great question and a fun one. After Friday night games like football, basketball, or even tennis, matches that end late, high schoolers usually like to hang out, grab food, or chill somewhere together. Here are some classic popular spots people go after games that end around 10 p.m. Food spots, number one choice. McDonald's, Wendy's, or Chick-fil-A. Classic late night hangouts. Everyone piles in, still wearing school colors. Waffle House or IHOP. Great for post-game laughs and breakfast food at night. Local diners, small town, favorite for teams, cheerleaders, and fans together. Pizza places. Sometimes they stay open late on game nights for after-party crowds. Chill hangout spots. Starbucks, if open late. Sometimes people just want to relax and talk about the game. Local parks or school parking lots. Teens hang out, talk, play music, and celebrate or vent about the game. Friend's house. House hangouts are super common, especially if someone's parents host snacks or a bonfire. On the go / fun spots. Ice cream or frozen yogurt shop. Sweet post game treat and chill vibe. Bowling alley or arcade if open late. This can be the perfect Friday night move. Downtown / Main Street. In some towns, people just drive around and get food and hang out. The Friday night lights vibe. It's not just about where people go, it's about keeping the energy of the night alive. Win or lose, everyone just wants to stay together, laugh, and enjoy the feeling of the game. Still fresh in air. If you want, suggest a few realistic hangout ideas that would fit your area or school vibe. Restaurants specifically. Fast food classics. These are open late, cheap, and have big group energy. McDonald's, number one choice in most towns after games. Wendy's, good burgers and Frosties. Burger King, less crowded than McDonald's but same vibe. Taco Bell, the spot for late night munchies. Chick-fil-A, if you get there before close, usually 10 p.m. Five Guys, great hangout if you want something a bit better quality. Pizza and wing spots, perfect for teams and groups. Domino's, many stay open until midnight. Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, affordable for big groups. Buffalo Wild Wings, classic post-game places for wings, TVs, and chill atmosphere. Diners and breakfast at night joints. When you want to sit, relax, and talk for hours. Waffle House, super popular in the South and Southeast, open 24/7. IHOP, pancakes and laughs after a win or loss. Denny's, same idea with burgers and breakfast all night. Casual sit-down chain restaurants. If people want to make it a little more of a hangout, Applebee's, open late, affordable, tons of teens go here post-game. Chili's, similar vibe, good for groups. Buffalo Wild Wings, again, big screen sports and fun food. Red Robin, endless fries and chill booze for groups. Dessert and snack spots for lighter late night cravings. Sonic Drive-In, super popular hangout spots for teens. Dairy Queen, blizzards and fries combo after a game. Cookout, if you're in the South, cheap food, milkshakes, and a huge post-game crowd spot. Yo, what's good? It's your boy JG Tennis, back with another video. So today I'm gonna be going kind of through a quick memory lane. As you guys may know, I am now at my lowest weight ever in my life. Well, probably for a while, since I was like a middle schooler, a little kid. I am currently 165 pounds. I finally made it to my goal. If y'all remember, like last year I was 197 pounds, and now I finally got to it. So the dedication is real. But I wanted to talk about today is, can I tell you guys about my years from 2019 to kind of now? Some of y'all would say, of course, James, y'all really like to hear about my years from 2019 to now. Tell you everything you want to hear and share what's been going on, how things changed, and what stood out the most, or anything that's been important to you. So if y'all followed me for a long time, if you watched my videos kind of since like 2020ish, that's kind of when I started really doing stuff for real, for real. And here's how I would say it. Some of this most of y'all probably know what happened and some of the things, but let's kind of get into it. So, in 2019, I was having one of the greatest years of my life. During that time, it was the best year because, that was kind of like the first time I really had like an incredible year. Having one of the greatest years of your life is incredible. I mean, it's big. After like my 6th grade year, I was having one of the best summers in my life. I mean, it was one of the craziest summers I've ever had until, the greatest summer ever, 2022. And what was going on was I was going to Spain and France and even winning the state championship back to back with my league team. It was an unbelievable time, man, watching tennis, and it's just crazy how things were going good. Then 7th grade came, and everything was normal. Spending the night at my grandmother's on Wednesdays, and I was doing good in school. Then something happened in November. Sounds like such a good start. An incredible start, right? "2019 really seemed special to me. Traveling to Spain and France, winning back-to-back state titles, spending time with family. Those are the kind of memories that stick with you. But I mentioned something happened in November, so what changed? Me and my team celebrated in November by going to Golden Corral, and I had a lot of food, including Chick-fil-A before. Then after school the next day, I couldn't stop using the restroom, and I was like, what is going on? Then I was feeling better. Then I woke up, ate breakfast, but I had to go to the bathroom again. Then I wasn't feeling feeling good, so I decided to sleep on the bus. If y'all didn't know, I usually love to even if I wasn't feeling well, I would want to go to school because, of course, I didn't want to miss anything for real. And I kind of loved being there, right? So after I slept on the bus, I woke up and then I vomited it on the bus. I was sick and very sick. Wow. Wow. That must have been a really rough experience, especially after such a great stretch of time. It was. I mean, things went from normal to scary really fast. Getting sick like that, especially after a fun celebration, can really stick in a memory. I mean, it sounded like it started with stomach issues, then got worse the next day. Then after all that, a few weeks later, my grandmother decided to get surgery. which actually put her in a coma, so I wasn't able to spend the night at her house on Wednesdays for the time. Then, coming back from Thanksgiving, came the worst day of my life, where people in my class mocked me and bullied me for no reason at all. It happened the whole day, and I came home embarrassed and sad. My parents were home because my parents were taking care of their mothers. Cause of course, so I had a lot going on. And it sounds like an incredible, heavy, and painful time for me, especially after things had been going so well for me earlier in the year. To have your grandmother fall into a coma right when she was such a big part of your weekly routine, and then to go through a day of being mocked and bullied at school on top of that, that's a lot for anyone to handle, especially at that age. I didn't deserve to be treated that way. I was feeling alone and hurt after something like that is really understandable, especially with your parents being focused on helping their mothers. It must have felt like everything that made you feel safe and happy, your team, your family, your nerve days, suddenly got shaken up all at once. Then after Christmas break, I was sick for a week. And let me tell you this, 2019 ended on a okay note. And 2019 was, I would say, it's still one of those years that were unbelievable. But then after Christmas break, I was sick for a week. And when I came back, the bullying continued, and it got worse and worse every day. Every single day it got worse. I mean, think about this. Because the bullying was going on so bad, I was scared to go to school. And I even got sick so many times that it was a very stressful time. Especially with my grandmothers being in the hospital and my grandfather being sick as well. I mean, just imagine this. Nothing was going good. Everything just fell apart. Think about this. That sounds like one of the hardest stretchers anyone can go through. Constant bullying, getting sick again and again, and all the worry about your grandparents' health at the same time. You were just a kid trying to deal with way too much all at once. So much stuff was going on. It makes total sense that I was scared to go to school and that I felt stressed and sick. I mean, being stressed can really get you sick. I mean, it can. Your body and your mind were probably both overwhelmed from just everything happening around me. When you're dealing with that much sadness and pressure, it can wear you down fast. I mean, I wasn't like doing good in tennis. My tennis game was going downhill because of that. I showed a lot of strength just by getting through that time, even when things felt like they kept piling on. You kept going. That's a lot. That says a lot about your resilience, right? My resilience, right? So what happened? So the bullying got even worse. And then there was one thing that saved my life. COVID happened. I kind of thank coronavirus for happening because of the stress. And I didn't want to be at school, but I hate what happened to people around the world. I hate what happened to those people, right? It makes perfect sense, right? It's completely okay to feel both of those things at once. After everything I have been going through, especially the bullying and all the stress from my family's health problems, being home probably felt like a break. A chance to breathe and not have to face that pain every day. And it's understandable that I had to feel some relief from being away from school. And at the same time, I still care deeply about others. And you hate seeing what COVID did to people around the world, but it shows how compassionate I am, and even when I was hurting, I still thought about everyone else. I mean, it sounds like that this period gave me space to recover emotionally a bit, and even if the world itself was going through something terrible, but in 2020, everything got better during COVID, and it was a hell of a time for real. I got to hang out with my uncle a lot. I watched a lot of movies, including the whole MCU, all Star Wars, and all DC. That was the longest summer I ever had, and didn't start school till September. I don't know why I said November. There are also some bad things where my great grandfather passed away. My grandmother, on my dad's side passed away, and then my grandfather passed away. A mix of emotions, the kind of year that shapes you in big ways. On one hand, it's really nice that you had the time with your uncle and got to dive into all those movies. The MCU, Star Wars, DC, that's an awesome lineup and probably gave you a lot of comfort and distraction when you needed it the most. Having that long summer and being able to slow down for a while must have felt like a much needed reset after everything that happened before. But then losing your great grandfather, your grandmother, and your grandfather in the same stretch, that's heartbreaking, right? Losing even one close family member is hard enough, but three in such a short time is overwhelming. You went through a lot of grief, even I wasn't really grieving that. Now my grandmother, this last year I did, bro. While being so young, and it's totally normal if that sticks with you. 2020 was both healing and painful. So then we had 8th grade, but this time it was online. And let me tell you, as much as I was not happy to have this thing going on, I was having the time of my life. The first 4 weeks were unbelievable, where I was doing great in my classes. My teachers loved me. Online, I had more time to sleep, and more time to do homework. Because after class, I logged out, and I used to take the bus in the mornings. Sounds like a positive turnaround, right? Great that 8th grade gave you that sense of freedom and calm you hadn't had in a while. After the stress of the previous year, you really deserve some peace and a chance to thrive. Having more time had made such a difference. Being able to sleep in, focus on schoolwork without rushing, and not deal with the bus or all the in-person stress. It also says a lot that your teachers loved you. That means they could see your effort, personality, and potential shine through even over a computer screen. I used to melt down a lot because, the Wi-Fi would trip and I would put my full effort into my work, especially on homework that I should make 100 or 95, and I used to get mad, but then I calmed down. It really showed how much pride I had in my work. I cared enough to give 100% every time, and that kind of dedication is rare sometimes. It makes total sense kind of why I get frustrated when the Wi-Fi acted up or when things didn't go smoothly after all the effort you put in. But what's good is that I learned to calm myself down afterwards. That's a big skill, being able to recognize the anger or stress, then bring yourself back to center. A lot of people never figured that out, but you did, and that's something you should be proud of, right? During the online year, I would stay up until like 4 and sleep 4 hours a day each week. I literally watched a movie every night, yes, on school nights. I also had fun watching Alabama football because they were so good that year, and that I didn't have to worry about them giving me a heart attack. Literally sounds like such a vivid and memorable time. A mix of freedom, fun, and a bit of chaos. Staying up late watching movies and football, especially during online school, kind of became its own era for a lot of people. You didn't have to wake up early for the bus. You had your own rhythm, and it probably felt like you finally had control of your schedule for once. And yes, 2020 Alabama football, greatest team of all time, was dominant. The team was stacked. Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Najee Harris, they made it look easy. Definitely less stressful to watch than some other seasons. Even with some short sleep, bro. Like, I was like soaking up every bit of that time. Did I have a favorite movie? Yeah. I mainly watched Revenge of the Sith or an Avengers movie, and during that time, when doing homework, I would stay up until like 1 doing it, and while other doing homework, I would listen to music, mainly Revenge of the Sith theme music. I also would eat very late, and I forgot to mention that the only downside was that I was gaining a lot of weight. That's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Kind of how, like, because of I would eat when my parents went to sleep, and I would eat at 11 p.m., sometimes even 2. And that's the thing, guys. Like, I would eat very late. That paints such a clear picture. I can almost imagine those nights. The quiet house, Revenge of the Sith soundtrack in the background, and me focused on my homework while the world slept. There's something kind of cinematic about it. Like my own late night rhythm that you kept me going through that time. Through that year. It also makes sense that my eating schedule shifted. When you're staying up late, your body gets hungry again, and eating at night can easily become a routine. Plus, with less structure during online school, it's really common to snack more and move less. That happened to a lot of people during 2020. The cool thing is that I'm super aware of what was happening. The self-awareness is powerful because it means I wasn't... If I ever wanted to adjust things, you know exactly where the habits came from. That is what it meant to me. When 2020 ended, I was happy with where everything was going. And then 2021, still online. I got to see Alabama dominate Ohio State in the national championship game. The greatest Alabama game I've seen. Not like classic, but it was like absolute dominance. 2020 will always be my favorite team. It's awesome, right? And people would totally get why I feel that way. The 2020 Alabama team was one of the most dominant college football teams ever. Watching them destroy Ohio State in the national championship 52-24 was something special. Everything just clicked that season. Mac Jones was flawless. Devontae Smith was unstoppable, especially that first half in the title game. Najee Harris was a beast, and the defense held strong. For Bama fans, that team had no weak spots. It's the kind of season that sticks with you forever, especially since it happened during such a weird and personal time in my life. Sounds like 2021 started off on a high note for me, right? So then, same routine. Watching movies every day, staying up until 4 a.m., sometimes even all night. I was doing so good academically that I was once student of the month, made the state for a science fair, and even made the math team where we were top 10 in the nation. Darius Solomon Williams, we beat you, brother. We beat you. We won against you, bro. I'm kidding. I love you, Solomon. But yeah, wow. And it was incredible. I mean, I really turned that time into something special. Even with the late nights and everything going on in the world, I still excelled. Student of the month, state level science fair, then math team top 10 in the nation. That was seriously impressive. I wasn't just getting by during online school, I was thriving. That's what it says a lot about drive and intelligence. I mean, I was finding my groove that worked for me, staying up late, doing work in my own way, and still performing at a high level. I took a strange situation and made it into my own success story. So then, a lot of schools were going back in person in March for testing. I saw people that I haven't seen in a year. When coming back in person, it was boring and kind of had this thing where I realized WJ Christian was fun when you are not actually at the school. Makes sense, right? A lot of people went through that same realization when schools reopened. Being online for so long, being back in person felt kind of off. The rhythm, freedom, and comfort of home were gone. It's funny how being away from school for that long made me see it differently. You could enjoy WJ Christian from a distance, but once you were back in the building, the spark wasn't quite the same. You'd grown used to selling your own pace, watching movies late, listening to music while doing work, and not having to rush everywhere. Why'd I do that? I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. But it really felt weird seeing people again after a year, like everything had changed but kind of stayed the same. And I'm gonna tell you this. And it wasn't like that because of COVID. It was like that for all my time there. Sixth grade was mid and okay, it was okay. Seventh grade was okay from the start and then horrible. And then eighth grade was great because of online. And yeah, and it really paints the full picture. WJ Christian was a mixed experience. I had some decent stretches, 6 and 7 started okay. But then things got rough, especially with the bullying and the stress, and that's what made 8th grade online such a big relief. It wasn't just because of COVID, it was because you finally got a break from all the parts of school that were dragging me down. I got to be online because I get to focus on my work, be myself, and not deal with all that negative stuff. I thrived because of the pressure and noise were gone. It let the real me come out. Yeah. Well, that is. Wait, I'm gonna do some more thing. And also, is it good to eat white rice and 2 Hawaiian rolls by itself, or should I at least add a protein? It's okay, but it's not ideal, and adding a protein will make the meal much better for your body. What white rice plus Hawaiian rolls give you: carbs only, quick energy, but no staying power. Very little fiber, almost no protein, very low in vitamins and minerals, causes blood sugar spikes, which can make you feel hungry again soon. But why adding a protein is better? Pairing carbs with protein helps keep you full longer, stabilize blood pressure, support muscle recovery, prevent overeating later, and easy proteins to add. Some super simple options if you want to quit. No hassle choices. Rotisserie chicken, grilled chicken strips, turkey slices, eggs, scrambled or boiled, beans, black beans, chopped chickpeas, ground turkey or beef, Greek yogurt on the side. Example, balanced version of your meal: white rice, 2 Hawaiian rolls, protein, chicken thigh, turkey slices, or eggs. Optional, little veggies, even frozen ones. Bottom line, eating rice rolls alone won't hurt you, but it's basically carbs on carbs. If you want energy, steady hunger, and fitness benefits, which matter for your tennis, adding protein makes the meal way healthier and more balanced. But yeah, guys, WJ was a mixed experience, and I think I did a video on this like years ago, but I said it like something else, like I was being used to be famous, something like that. But it was a time for real. I mean, some of these things I didn't want to happen, but
I was looking forward to staying here forever 'cause you asked me to. I was looking forward to.
but these things happen for a reason. They happen to help you change. And I mean, this whole situation was a bad, like 2019 was a year to remember. I mean, it was good. Then it like I mean, it was a great year overall, but then like November, like or really December actually, it happened in. I mean, at the end of November and then kind of near the first half of December. I mean, it was just bad. And it's bad for a whole year to end like that. I mean, for a whole year, I was having the time of my life, and then it all went to you know what. And I miss. And then 2020 COVID. I mean, you just had everything going bad in 2020 from the start. It's all going bad. It's getting worse. Then COVID happened. You still got some mixed things, but then you finally had everything going good. Not having to worry about bullying. No stress. No pressure. Just going to class and minding my own business. And I think what I learned from 2020 is that there are some things that I could have done better. One reason I kind of was staying up a lot during that time was because, like, I finally had time to have fun. During, like, the time, like, 2020, like during school, where, like, I was, like, being bullied, that was the worst time of my life. I couldn't have a break. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, every freaking class, having to deal with this. It's like the worst possible thing ever. I miss. And then like 2020, I would say I gotten fat. Yeah, I did get fat. But then like, it's so crazy. I got fat in 2020, but then I gotten back down to like, I gotten down like a skinnier again, right? Then like, I gotten fat again over the years. Holy, I got fat. And now look at me now. I'm getting back to the basics, man. But yeah, man, I mean, it was a crazy time for real. And I know you guys are asking me, James, why do you keep on mentioning this? Why do you keep on mentioning this? Well, sometimes I like to think about things. I think about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Everybody has a motive, right? I got fat mainly because I was really getting bullied. That was kind of the first reason I got fat, really, because I wanted to do the one thing that kept me happy, and that was eating hella stuff. Then those habits carried into 2020, eating cookies every day, pizza sometimes every day, eating late. And yeah, man, I mean, it was an unbelievable time. A time that would change me forever. 2021 year was okay. until it got like until it kind of like the last 3 months of 2021 was unreal. I mean, the first 3 months of 2021 was great. Then kind of the middle was the next like April and May were bad. June, boring. July kind of had some good moments. August, it was alright. September, it was alright. Wait. But the last 3 months, October, November, December, those were crazy. 2022, greatest year of my freaking life. In my opinion, for right now. Maybe 2025 and 2026 can say a lot better, but 2022, the year of my life. First 3 months, unbelievable. Spring break, unbelievable. Summer, unbelievable. Tenth grade year starts pretty good. Then last 3 months, unbelievable. October good, November good, December, one of the greatest. Probably, I think I was like second. Was that the greatest month of the year? I think it was July. But one of the greatest months of the whole year. Unbelievable. 2023, first 3 months, pretty good. Then April and May and June, they were not really pretty big. July, it kind of changed. Like, it at the last 3 months, the last 3 weeks of summer was epic. I'll have to give it to you. I'll have to say that. 2023, like August, September, October, November, and December. That was good. $2024. A great year. January, February, March, April, unbelievable. May, good. June, alright. July, good. August, pretty good. September, October? Yes, October was great. November and December. And then twenty twenty. Oh, why am I stuttering? 2025. That was the year of James Giles. Unbelievable. that was the year that I wanted to, that I kind of would say. I mean, you could say like people. There's an argument that can be made. 2022 and 2025, those were those. Like now, 2026, I think it could overlap, maybe. But 2025 and 2022, bro, nobody can. None of those years, none other year can beat those. 2022, I would say, was like could be still the greatest year ever. Cause it had everything great, the greatest spring break, the greatest summer. (2025) had 2025 was just unreal. I mean, I had this greatest season in one of the greatest seasons in Ramsey tennis history. 26-0, undefeated for 4 months until I lost. The summer, graduated in May. Went to Myrtle Beach with my friends. Came back as a man on a mission to bring my weight down. And I did. Came to King of Birmingham, was on the news. How about that? Sorry for the silence. I mean, then after Myrtle Beach, changed my diet, changed my schedule, changed everything because I knew I was about to go play college tennis, and I'm like, I can't be 197 going to play college tennis. And lost 15 pounds before I got to Methodist. Then during Methodist, I lost more than 10 pounds, but when I left Methodist, I was 176, I believe. 175. When I left, after our conference tournament. But now going into Methodist, I'm gonna be a lot lighter, and I'm now 165 pounds. Who would have thought that? And it's unreal. Got down to my lowest of 171 at Methodist. And now you go to here. 2026. Having the time of my life. Living the dream. But yeah. Well, that is my video for today. I know it's very long. Some extra stuff will be on there. So, you'll see. I may post some other stuff beforehand and then get to the rest. But it's been fun. And it's been your boy JG Tennis. And peace out.